Hi, everybody, and thank you guys so much for joining our Solidarity Car Caravan to support the Reclaimers from RROC, Reclaim and Rebuild Our Community. Um, this action was planned with COVID safety as the priority. We welcome folks to attend remotely. We have a YouTube link that people can join in on. And for those getting out of their cars to speak, we have face shields to hand you. And we ask if you're going to be we just want you guys to know that if you are going to be using the megaphone to speak, we will be sanitizing between users. And, so there might be a little bit of lag time in between just because, again, we're being very COVID safe. We want to keep everyone who's participating, who's out there safe. So for those of you who are actually at the event, we will be following the car with the flags. I'm sure that it will get, you guys will be able to see it. And we are anticipating CHP presence in one form or another. So be safe with your phones. Try not to get pulled over. I understand this is an online gathering. So if you have someone in your car, or something to hold your phone in your car, that way we don't want anyone getting pulled over. So stay safe for COVID and stay safe while driving, especially because it might be wet out there. Right now, I'd like to introduce Edie. She's actually at the event with everybody. And thank you, Edie.
Hey guys, this is Edie's. We're here at the Sereno Community Garden, waiting for folks to arrive and about to give a land acknowledgement. We're about 20 or so cars here right now. Everyone's feeling high spirits. We have a couple of the CHP here as well, going to be joining the caravan, it looks like, but we're glad that the skies cleared a little bit and just waiting to get our land acknowledgement going. So without further ado, we're gonna have Shady say some words.
Good afternoon, relatives.
Is it on?
Good afternoon, relatives. My name is Marco Muyueme and Karamuri. And just small, say a couple words and land acknowledgement, where we are. I'd like to acknowledging our relatives, the cousins, my cousins, the Tongva, the people whose lands we live and work and play on, whose traditional lands include parts of Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. We're here at the village of Watsugna. Great lengths were taken to remove and destroy these people, these brave people, by colonial powers. But they are still here, still living in the traditional territory, not vanished, not gone, not relegated to museums and history books. Here's to their resiliency. Here's to our relatives, the Tongva. Much love and much respect. Thank you.
Oh. Okay, so we're probably all just gonna get into our cars at this moment and go ahead and start the caravan. I'm gonna give it back to you, Sasha. Oh wait, one moment. I'm just getting word that one of our caretakers of the garden is going to be speaking here before we take off. So thank you guys for tuning in today. We're here at the El Sereno Community Garden in the city of Northeast LA, El Sereno, getting ready to roll out to a couple of our officials' office to make a little presence, to give acknowledgement to the land trusts that are doing hard work for us, for the people. So here's Erica.
Welcome. Welcome, everybody. The garden is here for you. This is our jewel. This is our treasure. The land, as we can only follow the lead of our ancestors and our Tonga family here present. We must be caretakers of our land. We must be land stewards. This is our piece of heaven in LA. This is our land to cherish and give back. Please, you are all invited anytime to come in and use the space for you to breathe, to live, to be. Thank you very much. You're always welcome. I'm Erica. Whatever you need, you're always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
Erica holds the keys to the garden, and she makes sure that that it's kept and maintained, and she kind of coordinates a lot of the volunteers. And I think that's very important with what we're doing, right? Because we're trying to rebuild our communities, right? And we're trying to step away from the way the system, conducts business, right? The bureaucracy of how they relegate, who's deemed houseable, who's deemed, to be on lists. I think that's very important. And she's, like she said, she opens up the gates, and the only sign up list is volunteer, right? And so if you have a chance and you want to be a part of this, it's open for everybody. We all need to be stewards of the land, and that's very important. And I think what we're doing is part of that, right? As reclaimers, as folks that are, tapped into the community, it's very important that we find, the source and different beacons that help us to reconnect to the land. So I want to say that, and I want to invite everybody in. I hope.
Oh. Okay, Sasha, I'm gonna give it back to you. I'm gonna head back to the car and we'll be right back.
Thank you. Thank you. So right now we are going to be traveling to our first destination after the garden, which then we will hear from Benito. So we are headed to Kevin De Leon's office, those of you guys who are following. Again, I just want to remind you guys, the car with the flags on it is the car to be following. Thank you guys. Yeah.
Around and back on this road. Cool.
You know the address where it is?
For anybody who might just be joining, the caravan just started, and so folks are heading over to the first location where you'll be hearing from local housing leaders and activists. So people are just now getting in their cars and they'll be heading over to Kevin De Leon's office, where there will be that similar throughout the next hour or so. Just more information shared on the current issues around housing in Los Angeles, what can be done, and benefits of community controlled housing. That's something that is just really important, as over the years, we've seen time and time again that city and state bureaucracies just really aren't moving the needle or providing any sort of preventative help in a meaningful way. And community control allows for the people who need the help to help make those decisions, right? Like, who else better to speak to their needs? So that's really what we're focusing on today. And hopefully we'll get a stream in here soon of the caravan. People are just getting in their cars. For people not in LA, it's like one of 10 rainy days a year. So right now, I imagine there's a little bit of slowing down because of that. We also encourage everybody joining to join the, oh, there we go. Tate has a good view on what's going on. The flags look great. Reclaim and rebuild is one of the mottos of one of the organizations involved in today, Reclaim and Rebuild Our Community, which I highly recommend you go to their GoFundMe. You can look them up on Twitter, twitter.com/RROC_LA. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a lot of links in the descriptions of these videos and in the bio. And right now, the caravan's going around LA to really just promote the importance of community-controlled housing, as well as just the different ways that politicians have been failing communities.
Thank you, Lene. So yeah, Tate has like she said, a view of the flag. So if those of you guys who are following in the vehicles, that's the car to follow. And just everybody stay safe. Like you said, this is one of 10 days that actually is raining in California. So, people get confused because the floor is wet. So let's just everyone be safe, and everybody just get there safely. I have sorry, just going over some notes here.
For anybody just joining, the caravan just kicked off. Tate has a good stream of it. And the caravan will be heading over to Kevin De Leon's office, where we'll be hearing from somebody from ROH, which is Reclaiming Our Homes. And for anybody joining who might not be familiar with Reclaiming Our Homes or Reclaim and Rebuild Our Community, as well as just the issues that have been going on between Caltrans and the El Sereno area, I highly recommend that you check out the Latino USA piece called Reclaiming Our Homes, and that will provide a lot of background context. If you have more questions and want a better understanding, there are links and descriptions in a lot of the Reclaim and Rebuild Our Community YouTube videos, and Spectrum One News has done a really good job of that coverage as well, which I'll update the video description to share some of those links for some background context.
Thank you, Lene. So yes, definitely look into the both of those, the groups and the different people involved today. I just want to take this time right now while we have some downtime to thank the organizers for organizing this. And as far as reclaim and rebuild our community and reclaiming our homes was the group and the organization who reclaimed the first homes in March. And really, that's who, you know, when I got involved, that's who I had looked up to. And just joining this movement, they set the way because, as you know, Caltrans owns these homes along the defunct 710 corridor, and a lot of them are empty, and a lot of us, I am personally am with Reclaim and Rebuild Our Community, are you know, housing displaced, you know, and for me, I've been fighting and battling homelessness for, you know, the past 3 years. So just to know that these homes that people can be, you know, using and that Caltrans is just completely dropped the ball on being on signing up for the landlord duties when they took these homes to rent out. So right now, I just, you know, the solidarity to go is to go to these places just to bring awareness around all of this, to support all of us, you know, the reclaimers from both groups, the tenants from Caltrans that are already there, who's, you know, not being treated fairly and who just, you know, also need our help. So right now we are at Kevin De Leon's office, and we have Benito ready to speak.
Hi everyone, we're at Kevin De Leon's office right now, and I'm going to introduce Benito, who's going to give a public indictment of Kevin De Leon. Benito, síguele.
Hola. Hola, ¿me pueden oír todos?
Sí.
¿Se oye bien?
Mm-hmm.
Ok, bueno, ¿cómo están todos? Gracias por venir, gracias por estar mirándonos. Mi nombre es Benito, soy un reclamador.
Hi everyone, my name is Benito. Thank you for coming and showing up today.
Soy un reclamador de Reclaiming Our Homes y nosotros fuimos y tomamos unas casas vacías de Caltrans y luego la ciudad negoció con nosotros y ahora tenemos un contrato, lo que demuestra que sí se puede.
I am a reclaimer with RROC. I took an empty house that was sitting empty and applied pressure to the governor so we can get these houses.
Pero solo somos 22 los que agarramos casas, nada más 13 agarramos. Los otros recibieron solamente una promesa. Pero solo somos 22 los que agarramos casa. Y en realidad solo 13 agarramos casa porque los otros 8 agarraron una mentira, una promesa que no se ha cumplido por 10 meses.
We are 22 reclaimers, which only 13 were able to get home.
Solamente 13 hemos podido agarrar casa porque los otros 8 solo ha sido una promesa incumplida.
13 of us were able to get home. 8 of us were not able to because of unfulfilled promises.
10 meses esperando sin casa están.
10 months waiting without a home.
¿Pero por qué hay homeless? Es la pregunta principal aquí. El elefante blanco en medio de la sala. ¿Por qué hay homeless? ¿Quién crea en los homeless? ¿Por qué surgen los homeless? Yo pregunto. El Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles. ¿Quién hace la ley para que el salario quede abajo? El Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles. ¿Quién está creando los homeless? El Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles. Cuando el Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles hizo la ley para que subiera la renta, y hizo la ley para que el salario quedara bajo.
Why do we have so much homelessness? The city of Los Angeles. We have so much homelessness because the city of Los Angeles fails to provide housing for us.
¿Quién hace las leyes para que suba la renta?
Who makes the laws to raise the rent?
¿Quién hace las leyes para que el salario quede bajo?
Who makes the laws for wages to stay low?
El Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles.
Los Angeles City Council.
Ellos hacen las leyes para que la renta suba y el salario se quede abajo.
They make the laws so that the rent goes up and the wages stay low.
El Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles es el responsable, el culpable de que haya homeless.
The Los Angeles City Council is responsible for there to be so much unhoused folks living on our streets.
Cuando vine aquí tenía miedo que los pandilleros me van a quitar la cartera, me van a robar el carro, me van a robar la casa.
When I came here, I was scared that gangsters would come and take my wallet, take my money.
Pero no han sido los pandilleros los que me robaron la casa, no han sido los pandilleros los que me robaron el salario.
Gang members have not taken my house. Gang members have not taken my money.
Fue el Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles que hizo leyes para que la renta subiera y el salario se quedara bajo.
The Los Angeles City Council has made it so that I don't have enough money to provide for myself.
Cuando subieron la renta y el salario quedó abajo, me robaron mi salario, me robaron mi casa. Cuando subieron la renta y dejaron el salario abajo, me robaron mi salario, me robaron mi casa.
When they raised the rent, they stole from me. They made it impossible for me to have housing.
Porque subiendo la renta y bajando el salario, no bajan el salario queda lo mismo. El salario se hace microscópico cuando las rentas suben.
When they raise the rent and keep the wages the same, it makes it difficult for us to make a living.
Cuando los trabajadores de salario mínimo ya no pueden pagar la renta, tienen que vivir en la calle, eso es robo de salario.
When workers are unable to pay rent and make ends meet, it makes it impossible for us to have housing.
Cuando me robaron mi salario, me robaron mi casa y he tenido que vivir 14 años en la calle.
When they took my salary, they took my opportunity to make a living.
Cuando me quitaron mi salario, también me quitaron mi casa y he tenido que vivir en la calle.
When they took my salary, they also took the opportunity for me to live somewhere.
Por eso vengo a denunciar que no son los pandilleros los que me quitaron la casa, los que me robaron el salario. fueron personas más elegantes, más perfumadas. El consejo de la ciudad de Los Ángeles.
That's why the gangsters did not take my home, and it was the city council that put me in this situation.
Yo hice este dibujo donde demuestra cómo las leyes de subir son unas piedras que caen sobre la gente y la gente no se puede levantar, queda viviendo en la calle. Están muriendo 3 personas diariamente en la calle por causa de homelessness.
This is why I made this poster with the RROC representing how hard it is for us to pay rent. Over 3 unhoused folks die per day from unhouselessness.
Entonces, estamos aquí para hacer un juicio político en contra del Consejo de Los Ángeles. ¿Cuánto nos han robado? Si ustedes hacen la cuenta, $1,200 cada mes. Ahora al año, ¿cuánto es? Ahora, por 14 años. Por aquí tengo la cuenta. Me robaron 200,000 en pura renta en 14 años. Y ahora por 41,000 homeless son 8.2 billones que se ha robado el Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles. ¿Y a dónde fue a parar ese dinero? ¿Quién se benefició? La industria inmobiliaria. Estamos aquí para denunciar el robo de salario.
We are here to announce the living wages.
Solo hagan la cuenta. ¿Cuánto pagamos de renta al mes? 1,200.
We can do the math and see how much we pay every month for rent.
Por 12 meses, ¿cuánto da al año? Ahora, en 14 años, haciendo la cuenta, a mí personalmente me robaron $200,000.
We get charged and do the math. How much do we pay for rent every year? For me personally, I lost
$200,000.
$20,000, $200,000.
Y ellos no entraron a mi casa a robarme mi dinero. Ellos nomás subieron la renta y con eso me robaron el salario y la casa por 14 años, $200,000. Ahora multiplican por 41,000 homeless.
They did not have to enter my home to steal from me. They steal from me by charging me rent on the month-to-month basis.
Cuando ustedes multiplican por 41,000 homeless, es la monstruosa cifra de 8 billones.
When we do the math, there are over, sorry, my math is a little off.
Sí, le han robado 200,000 a cada homeless. 200,000 en 14 años. Por 41,000 homeless son 8 billones. Por 41,000 homeless. Otra vez. A cada homeless le han robado 200,000.
To each unhoused folk, they have charged 200 million.
Usa la palabra robar.
Stole.
Somos 41,000 homeless por $200,000.
42,000 homeless
42,000 homeless
times 200,000 each
times 200,000 each.
is over 8
Nos dan la
million.
horrorosa cifra de 8 billones.
It's over $8 million.
Eso es lo que el Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles nos ha robado a los homeless.
That's what the city council has stolen from homeless people.
Los homeless no estamos pidiendo caridad.
We are not asking for charity.
Que nos den una casa, por favor, no.
We are asking for shelter.
Que nos den lo que nos han robado.
Give
Eso
us
es lo
what
que
you've
queremos.
stolen. Give us what you've stolen from us.
Por eso debemos someter a juicio político al Consejo de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles.
This is why we're holding court, not a court,
Council. Council.
Public trial. Indict the city council. Indict the city council.
right. This is why we're judging them. We're holding this right here.
Indict the city council. Make a political trial. Public trial to the city council. We need to indict and replace.
A trial. That's the word. We're holding a political trial on the city council.
Porque le robaron 8 billones a los homeless. Ese es el gran robo del siglo.
Because they've stolen $8 million from the homeless people. That's the trial of the century.
Por eso debemos reemplazarlos. Debemos encontrar un candidato homeless.
We should replace all the politicians and get homeless people to be part of city council.
Debemos buscar candidatos de salario mínimo.
We should get candidates that are minimum wage candidates.
Trabajadores de la limpieza.
Janitorial workers.
Toda clase de, todos los líderes que hemos estado luchando por la comunidad.
All the people that organic leaders that have been struggling with in communities.
Debemos lanzarnos para ocupar los asientos y reemplazar el city council.
So we should run for office and replace all the city council people.
En Oakland lo hizo Caravan. ¿Sí? Y en el distrito 4 también lo hizo. Ahorita no recuerdo el nombre.
So there have been several replacements that have been examples for us. We can do it.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Who does this go to? And then you guys can take this.
Thank you so much, Benito. Thank you, B, for being there. Next, we are going to have someone from another land trust come and talk. Her name is Leslie, and she's from the Beverly, Vermont Land Trust. And let's see, Beverly, are you on here?
Yes, I'm on. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all. It's great to be with you all and solidarity with you all in this space. So yes, I just wanted to speak on just how BBCLT has helped stabilize my housing situation. Like other CLTs, BBCLT has essentially what it has done is has taken the land underneath my building and owned the land and stewarded the land, while myself and my fellow tenants co-own the building on top of that land. And that allows for not only for it to be more affordable for us to collectively own, but allows, it also empowers us to make decisions for ourselves for how to manage our building. So like most CLTs, BBCLT is not only helping to ensure permanent affordability of housing, but also empowering tenants to make decisions on how to control their buildings and how to live in those buildings in the way they see fit. So in terms of the future of housing for folks making minimum wage, unfortunately, I think it's pretty bleak. LA, as many folks know, is just ever increasing in their housing in terms of costs. And many Angelenos are just rent burdened as a result. Not only more than 30% of their income goes to housing, some cases 50% or more. So that's why I believe BBCLT and other CLTs are crucial key players in ensuring that we can counter that reality and just making sure that through hopefully with public funding from the city, from the county, state, federal, that we're able to address those, the situation of tenants just being basically being displaced because of such increasing rents, and just partner with those tenants to provide that permanent affordability in their housing, and to keep them in their communities and in their spaces. And that's what I believe community control looks like, essentially, is keeping tenants in their communities, and giving them a voice in how those communities are governed collectively among themselves, through ownership. And it's not just housing. I mean, we could talk, if there's green spaces needed, if commercial spaces, so our small businesses stay in our communities. Community land trusts are great partners to making sure community members stay there and are able to afford to stay in their own communities, and to combat gentrification in that way. And how do I participate in community control? So I've had the privilege of living in my housing co-op within BBCLT for coming to 11 years now. And I say this, and I say, does someone want to speak?
No, I think somebody accidentally unmuted. Sorry about that, Leslie. Thank you.
No problem. So, and I say this basically, as someone who's very grateful, but also it's a sad reality that it's a privilege. It should not be a privilege. Housing is a human right as far as I'm concerned. So I try to pay it forward by helping fellow tenants through, grant writing assistance, trying to see, and just sharing my story of how tenants could organize together to buy their building. I also work in coalition spaces to see if there's a way to pass legislation to give tenants the first right to purchase their home before it goes into the speculative market, giving them that exclusive time window to work with their landowner to purchase that home, and in a partnership with community land trusts. So that's in the works. BBCLT, I'm proud to say, is part of the LA Community Land Trust Coalition, along with El Sereno Community Land Trust and other local community land trusts. We're just hoping to move, both getting more public funding. We've gotten some funding from the county. Greatly appreciate that program that started. We're hoping that city council members do something similar, partner with CLTs and get community land trust, basically scaling it up so that essentially every Angelino has the same rights I do of permanently affordable housing. And I think that's it, unless folks have any thoughts to share or questions.
Thank you so much. I love everything about that. I love that the community needs to jump in and step up, because it's unfortunate that the people that the community has chosen to make these decisions and do the right thing for us, the people, have failed. So, I'm so happy to hear that not only is there, different communities building together, but that you guys are working together. And thank you for being here in solidarity with us as we are with you, because that's so important. We all together voted for the same officials to make the right moves. And like I said, they've just, it's been failed, and I can personally speak on that because it's failed me. It's failed my family. It's failed so many people around me. It's failed, if you go in El Sereno, you can see it. And if you go just about anywhere in LA, you can see how that has failed us. Housing is absolutely a human right. Housing is a human necessity. And, what more than even the pandemic to show people, hey, you told us to shelter in place, but those of us who don't have a shelter, how can we do that? But these are your orders, and these are your orders because that's what's safe, that's what's needed to survive. And right now, if we don't have that place to survive, we cannot. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, I believe we have Sonia coming on next. Sonia, are you on?
Let me see. Okay. You guys hear me? Oh, wait.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm actually, let me just, let me see. Hi, and we basically, we're part of the Reclaimers. Basically, you know, the system failed us. It's not working for me. I'm a single, hardworking. I work. Yes. Hello?
I think that was an accident, Sonia. Go ahead. Sorry. Somebody accidentally unmuted. You can go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Well, basically, you know, it's me. I'm here with my daughter. Just basically, I am part of the Reclaimers. You know, I don't have much to say, but that I'm a single mother. I'm a hardworking single mother, to just put that in place. I want everybody to make sure that I do work, and system is not working for me. I can't afford rent. You know, I fell back on where I lived. I fell back and I couldn't afford to catch up. And I basically got, you know, pushed out of my home that I was in for about 16 years. And now I'm homeless, and I seen people, you know, I seen people, you know, pretty much getting into these houses. And I thought, why not me? Why not me and my kids? Why can't we get that opportunity, you know, to be settled in instead of, you know, moving from house to house or begging people to let us stay there, or motels. It's hard, and I can't afford it. And I mean, I don't know. This is whatever's going on. It's not working. $1,800, $1,500 a month for a 1-bedroom is not working for me. So, like I said, me and my daughter decided to go in and get some of these, get one of these homes. And unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. You know, the cops, they threw us out of there, and not just threw us out, excessive force, brutally. My daughter, you know, what am I supposed to do when they're, you know, being so forceful with her? She's only 17. She's a kid. So this is why we need that land trust. We need help. You know, the community, housing, what's going on. You know, I don't know. So, I mean, I don't know, Raylene. Nothing, Mama. Just not working out for me. I need, you know, community, housing, everything. Just it's not fair. It's really unfair for me working, you know, minimum wage. I can't afford $1,500. I can't afford $1,600. So yeah, I mean, it's not fair. I don't know. Thank you guys. I don't know.
Thank you, Sonia.
I'm getting a little, try not to get so emotional, but
Thank you, Sonia. And I understand your emotion, and I share your emotion. You know, I'm also a hardworking mom. And they say affordable housing, but it's not working for so many people, you know, and you and I included. I share that pain and I share that struggle with you. I've always carried multiple jobs at a time and still was never enough to be able to afford a place for me and my son. You know, I've, you know, like I said, the past 3 years, I've been struggling with homelessness and staying with family and friends and, you know, just trying to save up to be able to afford a place. But if it's not one thing, it's another. And it doesn't matter how many jobs I, you know, work, because at the end of the day, I have to work, but I also have to take care of my son. I can't, I couldn't afford it, you know, and coming into these homes for me and for so many, for all of us, was not, you know, an opportunity. This was a last resort. And I definitely, like I said, I share your pain, I share your struggle. And I just thank you so much for your vulnerability and your openness to come and share with us who you are and what you and your daughter, your 17-year-old daughter, you know, did to be able to shelter in place to be able to be safe, to be able to have a home, to be able to have a place to call home, you know? Like we said earlier, housing is a human right. And as a parent, all you want to do is be able to provide for your child. All you want to do is make sure that they have a place to be safe. You know, that's your number one concern. And you know, especially as a single mom, you have to take care of your child and work and provide for this. It's a lot. So thank you very much. Next we have Zahida. I think I said your name right. I'm so sorry if I did.
Oh, no worries. Greetings. This is Zarita Jones, and I'm actually from Liberty Community Land Trust and also Baldwin Lamerce Crenshaw Local of the Los Angeles Tenants Union. I am part of ACE Action Los Angeles Tenants Chapter, and I'm also on the steering committee of End Homelessness Now LA. And I wanted to speak on the wave of evictions that we have. Most of the time, you know, when they're trying to build housing or they're thinking about the issues in the community, they're not really thinking about the people. So the questions that people need to consider when they're trying to build housing for us is, does the plan that they're trying to operate do more harm than good? Does it support just a selected few people in the community, or does it support the majority of the people that are already existing in that community? And who gets the say on how this housing is built and what's the better plan? Is it the newcomers to the community, the longtime community members, the residents, or the stakeholders? But it seems as though that the developers has, you know, more say. The focus should be on the people and not the profits. And a quote from Curbed LA, it says, "The neighborhoods have already begun changing in anticipation of a new amenity, with more changes expected to come. For many residents, displacement and cultural erasure." Okay, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about when you come and you bulldoze these communities and start changing the landscape, you erase the people and you displace them, and you also erase the culture of that community, which is very important. We need to think about the racial injustice that's already happened. We need to fully flesh out the past tools that were used for the purpose of racial injustice, and especially in our Black and Brown communities. We need to try to figure out what type of planning and attention needs to be paid in order to even out this playing field. When I stop and I look at corporatism, you know, they kind of wave through us, they process us. We're just a number, we're just a profitability quotient in their equation. They don't think about the people that work for them in their agricultural and their labor and their military and their scientific and all these other industries. Okay, it's not based on their profits and their interests. They got to think about the workers that made those profits and assisted them in building the community that they live in, where they need to work. Now, although we've made some great headways, and I say our tenant protections in 2019 and 20, we've pushed a few things forward, you know, with our AB 42 and our rent caps and and the moratoriums, but it's not enough. You know, they're still discriminating, they're still displacing. And so when it comes down to having, you know, legislation like right to counsel, it actually needs to be codified. It needs to be a permanent legislative practice. So if anybody that gets an eviction notice now, next week, whenever, please just go to stayhousedla.com. It is a group of organizations from the community that has fought and has processed these legislations, so that way the policies, the organizations, the legal service providers can work together to help stop this wave that we know is coming because they planned it. We have to think about anti-displacement, and we need to examine the ways that the planning and the zoning was used to displace longstanding community residents and businesses that inherently drastically change our neighborhoods. We cannot continue to watch, like, for example, where I live in the Crenshaw corridor be completely ripped up. They'll take and propose 978 units with only 81 affordable, but that leaves 997 unaffordable for the people that live there. That is where the problem comes in at. They're not thinking about us. When you look at the numbers and the incomes of the zip codes, they're not building for us. What they're doing is they're building 90% of the housing for the wealthy and leaving 10% for the people in the community that are low income, that need these jobs, that make these communities work. I always say that if you have people that are on the hill driving their Mercedes and their Teslas, you also need people that are in that community that not only fix those Mercedes and Teslas, that also gas up those Mercedes and Teslas, that also wash those Mercedes and Teslas. Everybody needs to live in the community where they can thrive and they can understand and have a place. So I believe that the solution is community land trust. I feel as though that all community organizations and the people in the community need to come together, and we need to do our social housing models. We need to have limited equity cooperatives. We need to have buildings and establishments like my fellow colleague Leslie just spoke about. Most people don't know that we have 5 community land trusts that are operating in the city of Los Angeles. And we are trying our very best to bring these houses off of the speculative market in order so the tenants that live there can become the owners of those properties. It includes a racial justice component because we're not trying to displace anybody. We're trying to take and remove homes and rentals off of the speculative market for the people that make that community a whole place. This is our goal. So when you stop and say the community land trust movement, please listen to your LA CLT coalition. We're here. We're covering the entire county for you. We want to make sure that not only the 5 we have becomes 10 by next year. There's 32 operating, if not more, in California. There's 300 community land trusts in the United States, with about 20 of them in Canada. We really need to get this movement going. This is the only way that we're going to take and have cost-effective units for the people in our community and keep the community residents and preserve what needs to happen. We need to keep homes affordable for the next family and other generations. We need economic empowerment. We need to make sure that we preserve the culture in our neighborhoods. And we also need to make sure that it's resident-led. And we want to promote community self-determination. Now, I'm not against development. I'm just against development that's not for the people and development that displaces the people. So if they want to come and develop in our community, they need to make sure that it's viable for the current residents and the established business owners that have been there for 10, 20, 30 years. It needs to be truly affordable, not by some AMI, some other income variable, but for the zip code and where these people live and have been living. That's how you take and keep things affordable. You make that the base. You take and accountability. If we take and we create community agreements, then somebody has to enforce those community agreements. And what they don't remember is just because you can build it, the point is, should you build it? Does it do more harm, or does it benefit only a few? Who determines, what's better for the community? I think the community determines what's better. I say let the people decide, and I say the people want community land trust. And there's one rule. It actually comes from Assemblyman. I think it's his name is Charles Barron. He's out of New York. And he says, if the people can't afford it, don't build it. So what are we saying? Community land trust, let the people own the units that they have paid and lived in for all this time, and let them have some equity and some growth in the community. And I think that's the answer. And I appreciate everybody listening.
Thank you so much. And as I'm reading the comments in the chat, someone said amen. And I just, want to second that amen. Who better to decide than the community what needs to be in the community, and developers, could be a beautiful thing when they put the community's interest at heart and not their profit at heart. And this is sadly where we're going to, into gentrifying all these neighborhoods where people were raised, and they can't no longer live there and provide for their own family there because, you know, things are just going, you know, higher and people are coming in and they're building the community, but really they're not building the community, they're tearing down the community that's there to put in a new community. And just thank you so much. Next we will have, we're gonna be doing a banner drop. So I'm just checking right now to see if we're ready. Just a second. And oh, there's a lot of comments right now in the comments section to you. So I hope you have your chat open, Zahirda. Just a lot of thank you. So what a very powerful message, and you're absolutely right.
Hey, Sasha, it's Edie. I'm live here at the Caravan. We're the lead car. We're just kind of waiting for some of our cars to group as we're heading towards the banner drop. So until another 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much for that update. I'm not there, so it's very hard for me to know where you guys are at. I was just asking.
Okay, moving forward to the drop.
Okay, we're on our way to the drop, maybe 7 minutes.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. I know Sua had mentioned something in here. I don't know if you're able to talk right now, Sua, but if you want to kind of just elaborate on your comment that was in there.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to point out the need for so many of these solutions to be made in collaboration with community and not in a bureaucratic background. So many of these systems really exist at our pleasure because in a large part, so much of society has accepted the response that there are no resources and that we can't help all families and that we don't have enough to go around. And therefore we have to prioritize who is deserving of support and who is not. And so many of us see that on a day-to-day basis when families come for support and help and they're left out and they're left out because there is just isn't enough to go around, and we're okay with that. We're okay with those types of answers as a society. We've accepted that it's okay to drive down any street in LA and see encampments of people that are out in the cold. And you know, this is not a time for incrementalism, and this is really an opportunity for a significant change that counters that pursuit of profit over the cost of human plight and human death on a day-to-day basis. And this is a direct result of even folks that are honestly trying to be out there coming up with solutions, doing it in a vacuum and not thinking that community folks and folks that are houseless and folks that don't necessarily talk the legalese of bureaucratics talk, they don't think that we know how to talk about solutions, but folks do, and we need to be at the table when those solutions are coming up because we know what works for us better than anyone else would. So that's just all I wanted to add to what Sarita was saying.
Thank you so much.
Since we have a few minutes, Sasha, I do wonder, because there's quite a few, you know, we have so many incredible people who do work around housing around here. I'm wondering what resources people found helpful when they first started off their journey. And, you know, if there's any like books or like specific people that you've found to be really helpful in getting those started and like finding and starting organizations in your area. And then we can switch over to the banner drop. So you might get interrupted. So my apologies, but I am curious for people who, are looking to educate themselves more or get involved, if anyone has recommendations.
Thank you. Yes. So if anyone has any of that information that they can speak on.
So I can add, just as part of just personal history, one of the things that I think I found most helpful in this pursuit of understanding how to work towards a solution was that when we, many years ago, as a family, when I was a kid, found ourselves in need, we were those families that didn't necessarily find housing through the resources that were available, but what we did find was as the space justice, an opportunity to collaborate at a certain level on understanding solutions. So yes, those resources need to come and those resources need to be developed, but the way that they need to be done is with us at the table. And while we at the time may not have found the material things that we needed, what we did find was a community where our rage could be turned into collective power. And that's part of the solution, because ultimately solutions that have coming down are short-sighted in that they come down in the form of charity, and really they're not meant to be long-term ways of families coming and stabilizing themselves. And so that's really the problem when those solutions are thought of as a vacuum, that they're not holistic in building upon public handouts. Is that
I'm not sure. So if you're still talking, I don't know if you cut out for me or for everybody.
No, it's not just you, Sasha.
I was felt bad because I was like, I didn't want to interrupt, but
okay. No, you're fine. Yeah, thank you.
So sorry about that. Thank you, Sue. And it looks like some cars have gotten have gone a little off track. So they are coming back to City Terrace. And that means they are going to be a little bit behind those of you guys who are already at the next location. So they're like 2 minutes behind, so that's not that much of a difference. But that's cool because that gives people who are there ready to a chance to set up. And I just want to reiterate this echo of the community needs to be involved. The community, we're tired of politicians making decisions that don't benefit the community and only benefit the pockets of the people who already have the money to develop, instead of trying to build the community to get to a better place. It's just let the politicians and the developers make let them get to the better place. So this is just an echo of things that I'm hearing different people say, and And you know, it's so important. And I just thank you all for sharing that and for being part of this conversation. About to check to see where everybody is. I will be back in just a second. Edie's, if you are perfect, there you are. If you can
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
So we are right here off of the 10 freeway in City Terrace. We're about to get ready to hear one of our reclaimers speak, Emil. In the meantime, I want to show you guys the banner that was dropped. It says local community control. So this is a message going out to all the communities, not just as Sereno, but all communities in the city of LA, our neighbors, for us to realize that, you know, the power is in our hands. We have the power to change the system and the way that it's been treating us. You know, we deserve better. And if the community has a voice, has a say, then things, you know, can get easier for us in a better way. So I'm about to flip the camera and show you the banner. So this is the bridge right over Marengo off the 10 freeway. And right up there, they dropped it earlier. It's been up for probably a couple hours already. And it says local community control. Just giving the voice back to the people, giving the land to our land trusts so that we are able to decide the future for our children, for the next generations. So thank you all for joining today. It's been a lot of high energy out here. The Caravan has had a couple little mishaps, but we're doing well, and we're gonna be hearing from Emil in just a minute. Again, we're out here in City Terrace, over off the 10 freeway. We have some of our brothers from the other land trusts, from the other movements here, and so we're feeling very supported and very grateful. So thanks for joining. I'm gonna go ahead and flip again so you get to see that banner. We're again right here off of Marengo and the 10 in City Terrace, making a little presence for the community, holding some space for our community to have this dialogue, for our community to engage, for our community to question, you know, the way things have been. So we're very appreciative of your time, everyone tuning in, all those in the cars staying. We're trying to keep this COVID safe. We're all wearing our masks, making sure to keep each other safe as we take this Saturday to bring some awareness to our community and those officials in power. You know, they need to question what they're doing. How are they serving the people? So we're right here. That's Emil. She's one of our reclaimers. She's one of my sister reclaimers. Just doing a little prep so she can speak to all of you. One moment. I'm going to give it back to you, Sasha. We'll be back in like a minute.
No worries. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Like I said a little bit ago, we have some people who are still a little behind, so we're just giving everybody time to catch up. On this car caravan, we have a lot of different stops to go to, so we just want to make sure everybody's on the same page, at the same time staying safe. So thank you everybody for just hanging in with us and during our downtime. You know, going into this is something totally new. This is very unforeseen territories. So, you know, I appreciate everyone's patience. I know throughout COVID, people have been using Zoom for their meetings, but to do a car caravan and a meeting, I just, you know, again, thank you everybody for, you know, everyone's patience, but also thank you so much to our organizers who put so much into this, their time, their efforts, you know, their hearts to help us, to help me and my family, to help so many of our families. Just thank you guys so much. I'm gonna check in and see where everybody's at. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to use this time to jump in and say something, and I'll be back in just a second.
For anybody who wants to learn more about land trust, there is the El Sereno Community Land Trust Town Hall tonight. And if you go to the Reclaim and Rebuild Our Community YouTube, it's linked in the description of this live stream. And I highly recommend looking up El Sereno Community Land Trust on Instagram, and you can find more information there about how to sign up tonight. I believe it's from 6 to 7:30. And if you want to support Reclaim and Rebuild Our Community, RROC, that would definitely be super appreciated. You can go to any of the RROC Instagram or Twitter, and it's linked in the bio, where you can go to the GoFundMe.
All right, and I believe Edith is ready with email. We have email right here. Thank you, Edith. Edith, if you can push unmute, please.
Okay, everybody. We are the El Sereno Community, RROC. My name is Emil, and I am a reclaimer. I reclaimed a home in El Sereno, and I want to make clear the path, Caltrans, HACLA, Kevin DeLeon's office, that the reclaimers, RROC, took the risks in exposing the hoarding of these houses that were abandoned by Caltrans. El Sereno is our community. I grew up in El Sereno since 1966. I'm 58 years old, and I'm still there. And I'm displaced. We're not drug addicts. We don't have any habits. We just need to be sheltered in place. These homes were hoarded by Caltrans. The RROC were dragged out of their homes that they reclaimed, had their hair pulled out, hogtied, kids hogtied, arrested. 62 of us were arrested just because we wanted to shelter in place. We endured all that abuse. So we had to start our own and generate our own list, because PATH and HACLA have a notorious long list that goes on for eternity. So RROC, Reclaim, Rebuild Our Community, made that list, reclaimed our homes, and Kevin DeLeon's office and Durazo have this, their mindset on money, and they forget about the people. They're using those homes as commodities. We want those homes back. We want those homes. They want to give those homes to PEP for outside residents. We are the residents of El Sereno. That's my hometown. And I want the house back. All of our homes. How dare you? Yes. Homeless. People are homeless. We lost our jobs. I'm fucking going through a divorce. And I need a home. All you people do is use the poor as a damn commodity. I'm not your fucking money. Think about the people. You're thinking about yourself and how much money you could spend on your family to save money for your grandkids. How about our grandkids? We want our homes back now. I'm tired of being displaced. You can't even get a damn job. The tenants are displaced because the fucking rents increased. For who? You're doing this for the lobbyists. And who else? Oh, special interests. Capital don't fucking care, everybody. They don't care. I'm sick of bureaucracy. All we want is a home. We want family. They want money. Special interest. I could go on forever. We want our homes back. And Kevin DeLeon, you should be ashamed of yourself. You're just in it for the bread. You don't think I know your game? I know your fucking game. Come on, I was born at night, but not last night. I want my house back. All we want is a home to house our kids and our families. We work. We just can't afford the rent. The rent increase is too damn high. You want the gentrification to overrule us? No, that's not going to happen. I'm the El Sereno resident. My great-grandmother came to El Sereno in 1949, and this is where she died, and I'm going to stay here. We asked you for vouchers. Your office said, okay, call us back. We're going to give you vouchers. Where in the hell are the vouchers? Where are they? You represent us. Are you going to do what Weezer did? Oh, when I met Weezer at El Sereno Park, I seen him from afar. I knew he was going to burn El Sereno, and he fucking burned us. We want our community back, and on the El Sereno Land Trust, we can control our community. You guys aren't doing shit for us, but putting fucking currency in your pockets and in your fucking banks. Enough is enough. We're not asking for much. We are entitled to those homes. Caltrans kicked the former tenants out and lied to them. Now the freeway's a no-go. So we woke up, the sleepy giant, and they're saying, oh, we can make money off of these homes. Fuck the people. You don't want to house families. But the families from El Sereno, we want our houses back. Now, do something right for once. Stop the bureaucracy and give us our homes back so we can house our kids and grandkids. There's displaced families with their children. We want our homes back. The big entities, the capitalism, just to house our families. And what are they doing? They're twiddling their thumbs, thinking of what they could do, how they can make money. The lobbyists pay them off. Come on, De Leon, help your community. You haven't contacted us. We want to have a professional, peaceful dialogue with you. Let's do it. Help us. What are you going to do for the community? You come into office to help the community, and you're not doing it. You need to start and reach into your core of your heart and stop all the bureaucracy that you guys just, you're going to end up running for mayor, and then you're going to end up running for governor, and then maybe for president. I hope when you people go to sleep at night, you think of us and our children. And if you say your prayers and oraciones, ask God to give you the strength to understand you cannot be a councilman without the community. We are the community. How many times do we have to say that and stress that? Give us our homes back now.
Thank you so much, Edie. Thank you so
So
much.
that was Emil, one of our reclaimers. Thank you, Emil, for sharing. We're about to get back into the cars and continue the caravan. We're heading over to Boyle Heights, where we will have one of the Boyle Heights Land Trust chime in. I'm going to give it back to you, Sasha.
Thank you, Edie. Thank you so much, Emil. Thank you for your passion, and thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Sua coming on, and she's from a representative from the El Sereno Community Land Trust. Sua, are you still here?
Sua is in here. I just pinged her to get her to join.
Awesome, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I am here. So we are now moving in the caravan, and it's interesting, you know, one of the challenges that we have at Land Trust, and this was just a discussion I was just having, is that it is frustrating that we have little support within the context of public agencies considering us as a viable solution to address issues of housing instability and housing insecurity. And after years and years of statistics and proof that land trusts actually are stable, and you know, housing crisis after housing crisis continue to prove to be stable because the impact of foreclosures and the impact of a crisis is minimal on multifamily housing and residential housing that has a land trust overlay. There is solid statistical proof that land trusts as a model, they work. And so the frustration for many folks working to continue to try to expand this model and make room for this model as one of the tools to address the affordable housing crisis is that we are rarely looked at as a viable solution. And it is difficult and frustrating to see that and not really understand why. And one can only speculate that it's because it's a solution that really eliminates the ability for speculation and the ability for profiteering off of properties. It really does stabilize that property, and if there is a critical mass of this type of model, then there will be a stability in the way that we value value land and what the impact is on that transfer of that land and the profit that folks that work in the constant purchase and transfer of land will make. So the challenge right now is getting past that type of approach to real estate. That we have to stop using it as a commodity and really start looking at it as a resource that somehow we need to be able to share amongst all of us. And so I guess one of the biggest asks for supporters out there is to continue pushing electeds and continue pushing even affordable housing industry folks to really take this model as a serious tool to address this issue and include us in the toolbox of solutions and really understand it as something that needs to grow and something that needs to reach a critical mass.
Thank you. And that's absolutely true, you know, and on online you can see the different ways to contact all the different officials, because we definitely do need to keep on, you know, letting them know that, hey, we support, you know, the reclaimers, we support the land trust, we support these movements, you know, that are actually by the people, for the people, and not for private agendas. So absolutely. Next, we're going to have Roberto, but I'm going to check in and see where we're at with that.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I'm here. I'm driving. I'm sorry. The walkie-talkie's on. Let me turn it off here for a while. I'm driving, and I hope I don't crash. No, I just like to just second everything everybody's been saying. It's a systemic problem. It's not. It is city council, but it's not just city council. It's the way of capitalism. It's the way of the system that puts money first and people last. And we need to change the culture. This is a time for transformative change. This is reform is just not enough. And we've known that for a while. And I think the land trust, which has one foot in the community base and one foot in the system, is a good transition, is a first step, can be a first step towards community control and community self-determination. And communities then have to link up like we're doing today. Boyle Heights, Lincoln Heights, El Sereno, East LA, Highland Park. We have to link up, and we have to build self-determination in each one of those communities and be connected as a network of self-determined communities and a region and self-determination for the region. And if we build from the bottom, then what's left for the system? If we develop our own way from the bottom up, then it's easier to fight the top-down system. So I just want to agree, and I think this is wonderful what we're doing today. I think the way we're doing it is great. I think the networking is amazing and necessary. So I just wanted to agree with everybody's feeling pain. I want to make sure that you understand that I'm feeling the pain. When Sua talked about people left out in the cold, it's been very cold, and can you imagine what it is to sleep in a car or sleep outside? Right now, degrees are going to be falling below 40 degrees, and you know, what that feels like for children. And but we need to change the entire system. We have to transform the entire system, but we can do it a community at a time. We can do it from the bottom up, and we could develop uh, our own parallel systems. Each one of our communities needs our own parallel government structures eventually. And a land trust is a first step towards that. It can't be seen as the first step towards that. The land trust is a tool in the hands of the people, a tool for struggle in the hands of the people. So that's all I really have to say. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Roberto. And now we have our next Roberto. It's Roberto from another community land trust, just continuing our conversation on how beneficial, like you said, Roberto, these land trusts can be. So, Roberto from FCLT, are you here?
Hey, thanks. Yes, this is Roberto from Fideicomiso Comunitario Tierra Libre. We're on our way to 3 vacant lots in the neighborhood that are owned by the city of LA. Actually, with me is another board member. You don't have to say anything. But we're going to meet up with members of the community here from Boyle Heights to talk about what's going on with the land and with the land trust. So I'm driving right now, so we'll be there in a couple minutes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the update. Let me see. So again, I'd just like to take this time to open up the space. If anyone has any questions about what's been spoken on already, or the reclaimers, or even this, the caravan, or any questions, just please feel free to chime in.
I do want to shout something that was brought up in the Zoom chat, and so folks on YouTube won't be able to see that, as far as I know. But Zarita and Leslie were talking about just community land trust partnerships, and I love what Leslie said. She said, in my opinion, responses to CLT partnerships are good assessments of public officials' true intentions regarding housing. And Zarita said, developers and policymakers are not on our side, and we got the streets dying. And I think that these are good call outs, and especially with what Leslie said, in terms of judging what politicians say and public officials say versus where their intentions lie. So I just wanted to call that out for anybody who didn't have access to the chat, so that they know some of what's being talked about, because I think that that's a really good lens to look at public officials through. We saw, similar to many public officials, we saw Kevin De Leon do his campaigning talking about looking for creative solutions, and then what we saw when it came to reclaimers was, and this really like I found just very offensive in terms of accountability, is that Kevin De Leon tweeted out the day after the reclaiming started, saying that he was horrified about CHP's behavior, and literally said, last night we worked to get vouchers. I mean, that's not verbatim, but he did say last night they got vouchers, and then reclaimers 3 weeks later. So that was, I believe, November 26th. And 3 weeks later, on December 16th, reclaimers, after trying to chase down his office to get those vouchers and being sent around a path in Hacla, learned that there never were vouchers, which, just from the perspective of his official statement and what he said, saying that, and basically implying that he was up late working on getting those vouchers, just tells me that he was up late deciding on what to say and what would go best with public opinion, and no vouchers were ever gotten. And so I think that those types of things, people might say they want creative solutions, and it becomes clear when they turn to programs like PATH or HACLA, not looking to to totally revisit those and the way that they're set up, but just relying on them to solve problems that they continue to not solve, it says a lot about people.
Thank you. If Tim, I don't know, I know if you are available to speak, we'd love to have you speak next. Hi, Tim.
Hello?
Hey, all right, we can hear you.
Sorry, I'm just checking the volume.
No worries. So Tim is from, he's a Caltrans tenant, I believe.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, this is Tim. I'm here to comment on Caltrans land management and the experience of Caltrans tenants. I think everyone taking part in the event today understands that Caltrans has failed the El Sereno community, that they've failed in their capacity as a state agency to alleviate the housing crisis, and that they've failed to use their resources to aid the protection of people during the coronavirus pandemic. We take this as a given, but we should also recognize that the problem has existed literally for decades. In the last 20 years alone, Caltrans tenants in Hayward, from Orange County, from El Sereno, from South Pasadena and Pasadena have frequently recounted their indignities, their frustrations, their feelings of violation and injustice at the hands of their landlord, Caltrans. And these are events that are kind of out in the open. What I'm going to do now is just kind of read some modified extracts from newspaper articles in the last 20 years. We read of a disabled tenant in Pasadena who had to live with a plastic tarp covering his roof for 2 years because it wasn't considered an emergency. He says, they said all the homes will be refurbished someday, but they've said that for years. Another tenant had a waterlogged ceiling crash down on their head, and they sued Caltrans for damages. Tenants have had faulty electrical connections, plumbing that doesn't work, drains that spill out into the carpet, and mold on their walls. Caltrans' attitude is, if you don't like it, move. Pasadena code inspectors cited 8 Caltrans houses for problems that included leaks, vermin, inadequate water pressure, overgrown vegetation, missing smoke detectors, and exposed basement asbestos. In 2003, the department was sued by a renter who claimed she developed acute asthma and other ailments as a result of being exposed to extensive mold growth and other toxins in her Pasadena Avenue rental. One South Pasadena tenant who previously won a judgment against the department for wrecking her possessions with dripping hot tar during a re-roofing job has been living for months with improperly draining toilets, as well as a hungry rat on the loose. A tenant family in Pasadena was forced to sue Caltrans after a pattern of harassment by the Department of Right-of-Way. Agents were caught going through their trash, asking their postman about their whereabouts, accusing them of lying in their application form, and telling complete strangers the details of their finances. So this and a litany of other stories have been told in the press about Caltrans' mismanagement of the homes. And of course, it continues to this day in varying degrees. The question is, what can be done about it, right? And over the years, many things have been tried. We've had lawsuits, we've had public hearings. Again, we've had mountains of articles written in the press. And now we have direct action, right? The reclaiming actions have opened up a new strategy against Caltrans. And all we can hope is that this new strategy and this creates, at great risk and great cost to everyone involved. I admire everyone who's been a part of this movement. But we can only hope that it'll kind of spur some solution, some resolution, and that many of these houses can go back to the communities from which they came. I can talk more about SB 51, but I think I should probably wrap up now. So we can come back around to that later if there's time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim. Yeah, Caltrans has definitely not been the best landlord. Right now, Edie's, we are outside with Boyle Heights with Roberto from FCLT.
Hey folks, I'm actually using Fanny's phone right now. But yeah, again, my name is Roberto for folks who didn't get to hear my introduction earlier. I'm with Fideicomiso Comunitario Tierra Libre, and my camera is actually pointing at the entrance of a vacant lot. In front of the entrance is Fanny Ortiz and Eva Son Garcia, who are founders of Fideicomiso Comunitario Tierra Libre. And Eva is going to tell us a little bit about Fideicomiso Comunitario Tierra Libre.
Hola. Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Eva García y yo vivo aquí en Boyle Heights. Y nosotros pertenecemos al Fideicomiso Tierra Libre. Nuestra misión y visión es tomar tierras, construir vivienda para las personas que más lo necesitan y también tener áreas verdes donde tengamos frutas y verduras frescas, orgánicas, ya que nuestra comunidad no tiene esta posibilidad.
Hi, my name is Fanny. I'm Fanny, but I'm going to translate for Eva. So she stated, hi, my name is Eva. I am a member of the first community interest here in the east side, Fideicomiso Comunitario Tierra Libre. We are here in some empty lots that, part of our vision and mission is to make sure that these lots are utilized to build housing that's equitable, affordable, and accessible to our community. We know that many of our stories here, many of the tenants don't have access to housing with dignity. So that's why we created the Community Land Trust, to reclaim the land, rebuild on the land, and make sure that our community stays here.
Pues como les digo, nuestra misión y visión es construir y adquirir vivienda para las personas de bajos ingresos, porque estamos en necesidad de vivienda, porque ya no queremos gente viviendo en la calle, y creo que esta es una alternativa para construir vivienda para nuestras comunidades de bajos ingresos.
I might add also that I forgot to mention that not only that we're trying to build housing for our community, but we also want to make sure that we have access to community space, to community gardens, a space where we can grow our own food, organic veggies and vegetables. We want to make sure that these lots are utilized for the benefit of our community. We need to build housing that's affordable and accessible and equitable. We know that many people are homeless, and we want to make sure that we are able to decide what is going to be developed here in our community, meeting the needs and wants of our community.
Creo que hay tierra, creo que hay vivienda y todas están desocupadas y realmente el gobierno no hace su trabajo y prefiere tener las viviendas vacías y nuestra comunidad viviendo en la calle o viviendo acosada por dueños. Creo que si una persona es capaz de pagar una renta, es capaz de poder pagar una casa. Entonces creo que tiene en lo personal, y creo que de Fideicomiso también, es que nuestra misión es que si la persona puede pagar una renta, puede pagar una casa. Y realmente esa oportunidad no nos la dan ni los bancos ni el gobierno. Y nosotros necesitamos oportunidades así, porque si nosotros formamos una fuerte capital en ingresos, ¿por qué no nos dan esa oportunidad? Y creo que el Fideicomiso es una de nuestras metas, construir vivienda y adquirirla para nuestras personas que más lo requieren y de bajos ingresos. Gracias.
So yeah, just to these lots have been sitting empty for several decades, and we know that the government rather sit on these lots empty as opposed to developing housing and make it affordable and equitable and accessible to our communities. Many of us are tenants and we pay the rent, and if we can afford to pay the rent, we can afford to make a house payment. But instead, we have to watch these lots empty for decades. We want to make sure that our community has access, that we have the power to acquire the land and develop what is going to be needed in community.
Well, thank you everyone. Yeah, this is, we'll show you the lot. This is one of 3 lots that are empty in the neighborhood. And, you know, we hope that in the future, this could serve as a space for our community. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in.
Comunitario Tierra Libre. Like I mentioned earlier, we are the first CLT here on the east side. We are predominantly led by women of color. The majority of the women are part of the non-informal economy. So right now with the COVID, it has highlighted the fact that we don't have access to housing with dignity. Many of my friends have gotten sick with COVID, including myself. Why? Because we don't have the space to adequately keep ourselves isolated. And we are living under the threat that we might become homeless because we haven't been able to work to pay our rent. In the meantime, we see people that are every day living in the streets while we have all these empty lots here. And I think it's important to highlight the fact that we were already in a housing crisis before COVID-19. And that's why we created the alternative of creating a community land trust to acquire these lands. Because we're tired of sitting and watching how the government just sits on lots, on houses that could be utilized for people instead of being in the streets.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Roberto, and thank you to the ladies that were there who you guys took the time out to come and speak and be a part of this. We're all affected, and I know, like she said, this was even before COVID, and this was a problem before. So, thank you. I just got an update. I don't know, those of you guys who are driving, it looks like we're gonna skip the stop at the mariachi, and during the drive, that's when we'll just continue. And then Tim, I know you said we could come back to you, so I don't know if you're ready to come back. I hear the stories about the different Caltrans tenants in their houses, and it's very sad. I know someone personally who died because of the black mold inside of the house that Caltrans didn't remove, and they just moved the family to the house next door, and that house is still standing. It's crazy that they just don't care. So Tim, if you're still here.
Yeah, still here.
Awesome, thank you.
Did we have time now or?
Yeah, if you're ready.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's always more to say about the history of the tenant situation and the kind of chronic lack of money for repairs, and also like a very, I would say, a combative attitude between tenants and the right-of-way department. I think there's an attitude that that tenants are by and large not good people. I mean, it's a pretty typical landlord attitude, but it's also kind of reinforced by the institution because we have very limited ability to reach out to people in Caltrans. I know tenants who have asked, to talk to a supervisor and just been flat out told no, and there's no contact info. But this question of what to do about it is also really problematic because it seems like Caltrans as an institution is kind of insulated from the people, the people that we've been talking about, the community, the tenants, there's very little accountability. And even elected officials sometimes have problems, getting Caltrans to reform. So I think actually direct action is very important. The other issue we were maybe talking about was this bill, right? Because it threatens, SB 51 threatens the land trust's ability to help its own community to kind of repair from all of this damage from Caltrans over the years. And I'm sure I don't have much time, but SB 51 is the kind of reintroduction of SB 9. It's a short bill, but it has many problems. One is that it's targeted only at El Sereno, right? So other cities will still have, other cities with Caltrans properties will still be able to form co-ops, but El Sereno will not. And there's no explanation as to why it should be just El Sereno and why co-ops should be restricted at all. On top of that, it's only a 55-year covenant for affordable housing. And that sounds like a lot, but if you look at what happened in Chinatown recently with Hillside Villa, once those affordability covenants expire, landlords will try to raise the rents, exponentially. So it's just pushing down the timeline, inevitable gentrification. So, the co-ops the land trust can provide permanent affordable housing. It can do it within the community. Whereas SB 51 is designed to transfer houses from Caltrans to HREs. And that's both public and private. And I know a lot of people have strong feelings about HACLA, and I don't think they would like the private HREs anymore. One way or another, it's property management companies, right? It's not local control. It's property management companies. So the bill purports to address the housing crisis, but if you look at it closely, it seems to be in a sense kind of capitalizing on it in a way that doesn't make sense with what the community actually wants and hasn't been made in collaboration with, much less with the community empowerment in mind. Yeah. The previous version of the bill didn't go through the Senate. And I think the consensus on that is that when the bill was expanded to include other cities like South Pasadena and Pasadena, it was killed, right? Because the provisions in the bill were such that there's no way that legislators in South Pasadena and Pasadena were going to agree to it. But that also raises the question, why should the city of Los Angeles agree to it? Why should El Sereno support a bill that people in Pasadena and South Pasadena clearly did not? And I think if I could add just one more thing, because there is in the longer term a question about the power of, and the asymmetry between Pasadena, South Pasadena, and El Sereno, how there's differential treatment between the richer northern end of the corridor and the comparatively less economically well-off southern part of the corridor. And I think that that's true, and a solidarity between those communities is really important. But it's also interesting, the after effects of the whole 710 struggle, where, like, for instance, there was a hearing about the widening of the 710 in the South, right? Which was going to affect 500 homes in neighborhoods like Compton and Long Beach. And people went to those hearings and they stood up and they said, there's no way that we are going to be treated any differently from those people in South Pasadena and Pasadena who had the freeway stopped in their community. And I think that's true. Everybody should demand the same treatment as anyone in Pasadena, South Pasadena, El Sereno. We're all one community in one sense. We've been brought together by this 710 corridor. And no form of special treatment or discrimination should really be tolerated. I think that's all I have to say about that right now, unless.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No, thank you very much for your explanation. And and just drawing that light to us. Next, we have up Edie's with a poem. Sorry, let me see where she's at. In the chat, Zahida, thank you for your comments. And the corporations and large investors want to tie our hands and extract the wealth. And it sounds like a monopoly in making, absolutely. It's, again, just a way for the rich to get richer and just to get us out of their way. Edie's, there you are. She's going to be reading a poem.
All right, so we are about to hit Mariachi Plaza. We're heading down into downtown to Caltrans, and excuse my voice, it's a little cold out. I'm gonna read a poem for you guys that I wrote for my reclaimer group. A little bit of word medicine for us, for the struggle. This is called Recoup 20. Am I not deserving of nice things? Of a doorway that leads home, of a window to call my own, of dirty dishes that can sit for hours, of hallways that echo memories, of a bookshelf that needs dusting, of a roof I can stare at from my bed that holds my flesh and sin and sueños. 4 walls, the house of the North Star, East LA, Los Angeles, La Casa del Sur, West Coast, 4 directions, roof of my mouth, floor catches my fall. As above, so below. Are we not deserving of nice things? 20 families in search for more. The neighbors kick in the door. The glass cuts through skin pores. California Highway Patrol rolls in with hog ties and roars. Orders to restore empty homes to the ghost of a Caltrans corridor. Crimes against humanity, capitalist mentality, brutal symphony, disrupt ceremony of hearth. Mi corazón y mi cuerpo un caracol, rebirth, reclaim, rename ourselves rebellion. Remember our abuelos' wrath. We are the rose that grew from blood. We are the bullet that resurrects. We are the key that opens the chest. Are we not deserving of nice things? I have a bolt cutters to the gate. Show up in the morning of your American dream. Blow off some steam in your coffee cup. Gonna make you drop the routine. This is no longer make-believe. This is a 2021 reality. This is a 2021 reality. Burst in with the candor of your lust. This life is more explicit than it seems. Your seeking shelter rearranges your dreams, us piercing into the nightmare streams, because you're one paycheck away from our extreme, makes you mad at the 9-to-5 slave mentality. Wake up midlife crisis, someone is already dead, and you realize you are me. Gracias.
Thank you, Edis. Thank you so much for sharing that. You are so powerful, Edis. You're so strong. Thank you. That was so beautiful. Thank you. Next, we have Oscar. Are you here, Oscar?
I think Oscar had to leave, Sasha. So
Okay.
the message in the chat.
Right. Okay. So is Eddie here?
Hello?
Hi, Eddie. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thanks. So Eddie is from the Inglewood Reclaimers. So thank you, Eddie.
Yeah, thank you everybody for giving everyone fighting in this fight for housing justice and for the right for everyone to deserve a home, for giving us a platform for us to speak on our fights. So I'm involved with the campaign, a local campaign that started in Inglewood, California. It first started off with one home. Their name was Inez Torres and her family. They were immorally evicted on November 30th by Trojan LLC. It was a mortgage company that was doing shady business with their mortgage, faulty modifications of loans, and not notifying the family. And the mortgage company noticed a rise in prices of a property in Inglewood due to the two stadiums that are being built currently, and used that opportunity to evict the family. They evicted them during the pandemic, during the deadliest times, right? And the day when Gavin Newsom had just enacted his stay-at-home orders, and during the holidays. So what we did was we helped the family reclaim their home on December 18th, and we've been there ever since. It was a month on Monday that it marked a month on Monday that we reclaimed our home, and we've been there ever since. We've been there keeping watch, building community, keeping watch 24/7 of the police, of any other agent that Georgia might send our way to intimidate the family to move out. And we also use this opportunity to create a space for organization, for people to create events to uplift the housing crisis in LA and the eviction crisis that is looming among us this year. And also just for a space for people to create community, for people to come, put on events such as political education, book club, gardening, COVID workshops, etc. So it's just a space that we're building while still maintaining the spirit of housing injustice. Inglewood, as I heard the speaker before me say something about gentrification. Gentrification is something that is also in our communities. Inglewood is predominantly black and brown people, working class people who have an American dream to one day buy a home, to build a family, to raise a family. And it is unfair how these mortgage companies, these are consolidating property in our own communities and not allowing us to be proper owners of our homes and of our land. And something needs to happen. We know that that is in the eyes of the law or legislation is not going to pass anytime soon. So the only way to pressure our government, the people that represent us, is to create direct actions by reclaiming homes, by reclaiming property that has been abandoned, by occupying space that rightfully belongs to us. Let's say like if there's a stadium being built wrongfully in our community, when we see houseless people struggling outside, it's our duty to stand up and to organize and to occupy that space and say, you know what, we didn't vote for this. We're voting for you to represent us and to protect us and to protect the most vulnerable in our community. And all you're doing is you're accommodating to the rich upper class. You're saying that the rich upper class is worth more than the own people. And that's what we're doing in this fight. We're standing up against gentrification. We're standing up against mortgage companies that are consolidating property in our communities, and we're standing up against and we're fighting for housing justice across LA and across the nation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The community and the solidarity is it's very important in these movements. So thank you.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to come out, feel free to message me. You can follow us on Instagram. We just changed the name to here_to_stay. if you want to get more info.
I was
But
just
yeah,
gonna ask if you can post the information in our chat, that way we can have that and put that in.
yeah, I will.
Awesome.
And I posted on the chat. Also, I think it's important for everybody in LA to get connected, especially those that are fighting for housing justice, to be connected and to stay strong and to show solidarity amongst ourselves. So I think I can't thank our RROC enough for putting on this event.
And we thank you for joining and being willing, again, you two, to come forward and speak, and just on, the issue that's happening, not just in El Sereno, it's just, everywhere. So thank you for just bringing more light to this, and we stand with you just as much as you stand with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rebuild our community. Housing is a human right. Reclaim and rebuild our community. Housing is a human right. Reclaim and rebuild our community. Housing is a human right. Reclaim and rebuild our community. Housing is a human right. Reclaim and rebuild our community. Housing is a human right. Reclaim and rebuild our community. Housing is a human right. Reclaim and rebuild our community. Housing is a human right.
Edie, do you have one more poem for us?
Hi, Sasha. We are now downtown at Caltrans building. Coming up ahead, we're circling City Hall. We are exactly where First and Main meet. It's City Hall, Caltrans Department, and LAPD headquarters. So we're gonna make a little presence here, circle around the block a couple times, and I would love to share another poem with you. I'm gonna keep the camera just here on the streets. You can also see a homeless encampment right in front of City Hall. So this poem is called Corazon. Today I awoke with fire, burning through my heart, speaking universal tongue, my spirit bursting like stars. A strong felt desire to rise up and manifest, feeling ready for revolt. And I ask you, where did you leave your corazon? Falling under and over the rise of the moon, someone left too soon, you forgot to close the door. What is in store for you now? What will you reach for soon? An eclipse and setting sun. Tell me, when did you forget that we are all one? Who invaded your divinity, gave you false ideals and compromised liberties, tells you how to dress, what to choose, what you can afford to lose. The reality is you were born free daughters and sons of the galaxy. Be bold in your search for truth and equality. Where has humanity left their corazon? Sowing seeds of discontent, and I can only hope. The system is broken and destined to fail. It consumed you, and here we go again. Inner side by a dream unseen, chaos and creation invented a space inside of you to keep the secret of a people. Remember it now. You must rise up and cleanse again like feelings in rain. Believe in truth and love, and most of all, awaken your corazon.
Oh. I'll make a right.
Thank you, Sasha. I'm gonna give it back.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all of your poems with us and all of your words. You bring strength to so many of us, and just throughout this, you brought so much strength to me. So thank you.
Again, we're just circling here, and this is a homeless encampment outside of City Hall, Los Angeles. This is the state of our union.
Housing is a human right. Reclaim and rebuild our communities. Housing is a human right. Reclaim and rebuild our communities. Housing is a human right.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining in via Zoom or on YouTube. I just want to bring back to the importance of the community, and RROC has definitely been like the most influential community I've had and have been able to be a part of. We have a GoFundMe, and that the community has made, and that's what has helped, get me and my family through the holidays and be able to stay in motels, because otherwise I don't know how we would have, done it. So we do have the GoFundMe, and it is on our link tree. So if you guys need to find us, you guys can, the Instagram is Rebuild and Reclaim Our Community, and we have the link tree there, and you can click the link, and the GoFundMe's there. We have some petitions there. Marco, I see you're on here. I see you're telling me about the town hall tonight. So yeah, let me first remind everybody that the town hall for El Sereno is tonight, and the importance of just showing up and showing support. 6:30. Marco, would you like to speak on that, please? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were driving. Yeah, but tonight is the town hall, and I'm pretty sure, someone correct me if I'm wrong, you can find that information on the El Sereno Community Land Trust Instagram too. I'm sure they have a link to it.
Yeah, it's on their Instagram, and for anyone who's watching this on YouTube, you can go to the description of this YouTube video, and it is linked there, as well as a few of the other links that were mentioned. There's a link to the GoFundMe and to the Stay Housed LA site that Sarita mentioned. So there's quite a few links in there. And we encourage you to join the town hall tonight. They'll be talking about and elaborating on the benefits of community land trust and exactly how they work, right? Because it's so new to so many people, and they don't all work the same because they're not all serving the same community. So I really encourage people to join that. I'm not sure if they're going to have something recorded online afterwards, but it will be via Zoom.
Awesome, thank you.
Do we have, I don't know if Amanda wants to jump in or and let us know if there's anything else to cover, but I think as far as speakers go for the live stream, that that might wrap things up. Is that right?
Yeah, I think this is it. We're probably just gonna do a few more circles and tell Caltrans how we feel.
Beautiful.
And just want to say thank you to everyone who participated.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And Sasha, you did an amazing job facilitating. And everybody who spoke had so much to say and good knowledge to offer. So thank you. Everybody really kept me tweeting quotes pretty frequently. So it's appreciated.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. I know there was talk about tacos at Leo's in Echo Park, if anyone wants to join. But just keep in mind, COVID and social distancing and 6 feet, but and masks, definitely masks. But yeah, it looks like people, that's where some people will be going afterward. And thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for taking the time to sit here and support and stand with us as we stand with you to build this and just get this information out there. Thank you.